Hello everyone, my name's Bob Mitch and I'm back once again after another hot minute. We are eagerly awaiting the drop of 3.10, but we don't have it. It's still, in Ivacati. We haven't even had a PTU yet. I'm hoping that we get a PTU or something this weekend. It's gone Q3 now. We are into the beginning of is that right? I don't know. Q2 into Q3, something like that. We should have this patch. We should have the content, but we don't. It's running late again. And I understand that there's going to be problems and challenges. Where have I been? I've been busy working because even though the coronavirus has been raging, I hope everybody who sees this is doing well. I work in a bunch of hospitals and I work IT for a bunch of hospitals, so naturally we've still been very busy. And despite everything that goes on, doctors can snap you in half and put you back together again, but quite a lot of them, bless them, can't use computers to save their lives. So I've been very busy. I haven't been working from home very much, even though we've kind of been rotating in our office, going in and out. So I've been playing a lot of other stuff. I've been playing a lot of Star Citizen because Star Citizen hasn't really engaged me since the Invictus week ended. Like, I haven't really had an end game to push to, so I've just been going back to my old fallbacks like Holdfast, and more importantly, I went and did a coronavirus purchase thing and I spoiled myself. I bought into VR. So I love VR. I've been a big advocate of VR since it came out, but I've never really invested in it because even though I play the games and I do love it, it was a lot of money for what it was. But HTC were doing some refurbished first gen 5s, and I thought I'd pick one up. I thought it was a good time to invest because, as you are probably aware, Half-Life Alyx came out and decimated the VR market. You couldn't buy a lower end one for love nor money. And then I saw these on HTC's site and bought one. So I've since bought a little funny thing for the front to protect it, as you can see, and I bought the audio strap. So I'm very into VR now. And I've been able to play lots of the games that I have otherwise been denied because I didn't have VR. So I played through Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is incredible. I play lots of Pavlov VR because that's just sheer hilarity. And a little bit of Beat Saber and some other cool games and things in the meantime. But yeah, I'm a big fan of VR. I do like VR a lot. And I can do VR. So if you want to see some VR videos, or maybe I might stream some VR on my Twitch or something and then maybe upload it to YouTube, I don't know, maybe some Pavlov in the evenings, then leave a comment below or something like that and let me know, and we'll see how it goes. But Star Citizen stuff. This is going to be a Star Citizen video. This isn't just about a Vive. CIG has done something very cool in the sort of dearth of content we've had in the meantime. They did a webpage, which I will just fire up here now, which they have called the Invictus Launch Week and Alpha 3.9 Postmortem. So if you don't know what this is, they basically done like a feedback article to say we saw what we did, we can see what we did wrong, and we know that, like, we have an idea of what we need to go going forward. And I think this is something that lots of game companies need to do. The only time you see this sort of thing normally from a games company is when they know that they have screwed up massively. Something like Star Wars Battlefront, or the best example I could think of when I saw this article at work today was Final Fantasy XIV, when Square Enix saw that their game was terrible and they said, okay, yeah, we're going to redo the whole thing, we're going to rebuild it from the ground up, and we're going to make a brand new game. And sort of, we're going to tie the lore in so that it is like we restarted the world on purpose and everything was regenerated. Star Citizen obviously isn't quite on this level, but this is a very cool article in the meantime. So, hello citizens, last month on June 7 wrapped up our inaugural launch week, the Invictus launch week. I'm just going to scroll down to what is kind of the meat and potatoes of this article. So, going into Invictus launch week, we believe that we could handle the flood of new players. For one, May is a typically low traffic month for us, start of the summer at the end of the day, which is one of the reasons why we used it for the Invictus event. Secondly, after 4 years of live service data going back to Alpha 2.0, we estimated a fairly robust surge in players greater than last year's Alpha 3.5 free fly. Can't talk. Busy day at work, I apologise. But still slightly lower than November and December numbers. But as you now know, and we all know, Fleet Week smashed all expectations. The thrill of seeing and hijacking or destroying Lightnings, Idrises and Javelins, an IAE style promotion and free fly converged to create our best month of engagement to date. Invictus had more than double the total unique users, new users of our Alpha 3.5 free fly event last year, and during the first weekend of the Invictus launch week, peak concurrency and daily unique logins were 10 times greater than normal. Instead of being an event that rivaled November's IAE, so the last free fly, or the December 3.8 patch release, Invictus launch week blew past both as May 2020 became our biggest month in history. Based on what we knew going into the week and some of the work we did in Alpha 3.8, we felt we could handle the near-term load during the event, but we underestimated the sheer number of people logging into play. The reality is that we've known that our first generation back-end tech that is rife with singletons, so little bits and bobs that they know will break, and insufficient data formats and usage patterns on the client server side would have scalability challenges beyond a certain number of users. So, like they said, they didn't expect as many people as they thought they'd get. That's why for the past couple of years we've had the back-end team furiously working to remedy these issues, and the first fruits of these labours due to arrive in Q4 2020. So this is the iCache and the inventory systems, because as we read on, that's what screwed over things here and why the servers were so broken during the Invictus week. The major mistake on our side was that we thought our first gen tech could hold out for another few quarters. In addition, we didn't realise the impact that the first version of long-term persistence, so another thing, again, inventory, activated in Alpha 3.1 would have on the size of the database fetches as we scaled up to unprecedented numbers of players. Since we didn't reset player accounts with each patch unless we have to, and we don't currently have limits on the number of items that people can have, many players had thousands of items versus just a few dozen. If you think back to the early alpha iterations, we didn't have a lot of shit, and it got cleared out between each patch. Now it didn't. The player load and the interim solutions for persistence all resulted in a perfect storm, causing server issues for a number of players. They say number of players, basically everybody, because it was really bad if you remember, especially to start with. Although the unfortunate downside of this was degraded performance and stability that we had to quickly correct, there was a real upside to the unprecedented traffic, as painful and disappointing as the issues were. Only an event of this scale, with a massive load from the Invictus launch week, could have exposed these short-term weaknesses. We are developing systems today, such as iCache and physical inventory, that will be able to handle the increased player traffic, however they aren't deployed yet. This is what we're still waiting for. But because of what we saw during Invictus, we are bringing some elements of our in-development scalable tech online earlier than we had planned to. So maybe this might explain some of the delays with 3.10. I hope this is the case. This will allow us to deal with the increased load that our growing engagement and long-term persistence have brought. Solutions to our most egregious back-end bottlenecks should start rolling out later this year, but there will still be more to do in the quarters beyond. While it must be frustrating to experience these growing pains with us, this is exactly why the live playtesting the community does now is essential. We don't just see the same loads and player behaviours internally in either Kati or even in the PTU. It's only when the game's played in the live environment at the scale that we get the true real-world testing we need to improve our service. So whilst we know it's frustrating to encounter these problems, exposure at this stage gives us the opportunity to make our systems more robust and scalable earlier than would normally be the case. So, I just think it would be nice to do a nice little video on this article, because this is the kind of transparency that I want to see from game companies, and I think it's a really cool thing that they've taken this step. They've put this one foot forward and say, okay, we knew things were bad, this is why, this is what we're doing to fix it. It might not be here yet, but it's coming, and this is what it is. So as opposed to just saying, oh yeah, we've got fixes down the road, give us a few more months and we've got it sorted, they've actually said, no, personal inventory and iCache will fix these, but they're not quite ready yet. We didn't realise that they were going to break things, or that we were going to need them this early, but there we go. You can see they have a little cool graph here that's the engagement versus previous events, and you can see that the Invictus was just like, yeah, we'll have all that. So I just thought this was a really cool article that they've put out. This is the sort of thing that they need to do more if there's more problems. It's almost like a sprint report, but of more specifically the back end. So as opposed to saying we got this done, like we got this bit of this ship done, we got this bit of this planet done, or this bit of this station done. No, this is the back end services. This is why this thing broke. This is what we're doing to fix it. This is what is going to fix it, and this is a time frame on when it's coming out. So thumbs up. This is what I like to see. I hope Board or someone does something on a similar video in a similar vein to this thing, because I think this article, despite having not played Star Citizen in a while, because like I said, there's been a dearth of content, I haven't really been engaged since Invictus. This is really cool to see. When I was reading this at work, I was like, yes, more of this, more of these kinds of articles, more of these, not just from CIG, from everybody. You know, CG Project Red, who have been doing Cyberpunk for forever now, doing similar things, saying, you know, we know we need to delay it. We know why. There's lots of things and lots of bugs to break. It was a little bit vague, but it was cool in the same vein. And because they have that credibility to deliver those good games and stuff, that's what we like to see. As opposed to like EA on Battlefront 2, when Battlefront 2 had its initial launch woes way back, and I don't mean about microtransactions, I just mean about game breaking bugs and tons of hackers everywhere and things like that. They didn't give back end reasons for what was going wrong. They just said, oh, we're dealing with it, It was a very Trumpian response to step on maybe a couple of toes there, but this article was fantastic. I really like this, so more of this. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little video on this to show a little bit of support for CIG in general, because I know that I do try to be a critic of them and bash them a little bit when I think they've done something wrong. But this is a massive step in the right direction, just to say we know there was problems, we know why there was problems, we've isolated that, this is what's working, this is what isn't, we know what we're doing. It's good stuff. So there we go. That's a little update from me as to why I've not been around and I've not done many videos. Stupidly busy with work and coronavirus going on at work. It will continue, I'm afraid. I'm going to do my best to hammer out the 3.10 content when we do eventually get it on the PTU and I can actually record it and show it to you guys. But at work is entering the busiest period of the year for me, because we have to go into a tiny bit of detail, I help manage a lot of the doctors who start with the hospitals and set them all up with their access and everything. And this time of the year is when they all rotate into different specialties and things like that. And you'd think they might curb that on the head with what's going on, but no, they still want to switch them all around, so we still have to switch them all around. And it's a lot of work. So, little update from me. So, there we go. Cool article. I have VR now. If you want to see VR, let me know. And 3.10 content coming as soon as I can get it to you guys and when it comes out. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the continued support, because I have had comments and stuff, and it's nice to hear those little tidbits of encouragement in the meantime on past videos and things like that when people go back and watch those. So thank you, and I will see you next time.